Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Andrew from TeamBlacktopYGO here. Today I'm bringing you a video reviewing the entire Danger Archetype. Or at least I'm pretty sure. I don't think we're going to get any more support here in the TCG. It only had one card released in Savage Strike. So I think we're wrapping up that TCG exclusive. Now I think the TCG exclusive is going to be the Time Thief Archetype. And they're looking decent, not too great, but they're looking decent so far. But this one is about the dangers. And I'm going to give you my thoughts and impressions about these cards, having played against some of them and having reviewed them and all that stuff. So first, we're going to get into the spells and traps. Now, I know this is kind of weird. We're not doing the monsters first, but the spells and traps are easier to get through because hardly anybody plays the spells and traps. They're just not good enough in a danger strategy. So first off, I'm going to group them a little weirdly, but the first two spell and traps to come out, we have Danger Zone, the normal trap, and Realm of Danger is a field spell. Now, Danger Zone is basically a graceful charity for dangers with a little bit of a drawback, but if you're running this in a danger deck, you're never ever going to have that drawback. But the thing is, you don't want to run this in a danger deck because most of the time, if you're using dangers, you want to go first because you can either FTK your opponent or set up a huge board that your opponent cannot out easily. That's the whole thing with the dangers, and we'll sort of get into that later with the monsters. And then Realm of Danger is like decent, but it's not great. It doesn't really help anything. It doesn't help the dangers accomplish any sort of win condition that they see play in now. So these two cards have been kind of pushed off to the wayside. And this was the first wave of danger support. They came out in Cybernetic Horizon initially, which was like 3 core sets ago if you include the upcoming Savage Strike. And these two aren't really played. And the next two, these came out in Soul Fusion, the set right after Cybernetic Horizon. Danger Response Team and Second Expedition into Danger. Response Team and Second Expedition both share the same second effect, which is if this card is in the graveyard, you can discard a Danger monster and place this card on the bottom of the deck and then draw a card. This is pretty good in relation to one of the next Danger cards I'm going to show you. Danger monsters, rather, not just cards, but their first effects, I don't know, they're okay. Like I said, you're not really playing dangers to do anything after turn 1, and you don't want any like bricks to clog up their win condition, which their win condition is basically just spamming the field and linking into monsters, making stuff that will prevent your opponent from winning or playing the game. And that's evident, especially when you look at like what decks danger has been featured in, FTKs and OTKs, or not OTKs, but just FTKs really, and just lockdowns and stuff like that. And then Second Expedition is just, it's probably the worst card, to be honest, of all the dangers. Both of these have that effect that lets you discard a danger, and draw a card. And I think that's what makes them decent when you think about the first danger monster I'm going to tell you about. But first of all, for the danger monsters, they all share the same first effect, and that is you can reveal the card in your hand, your opponent picks a random card from your hand and discards it, and if the discarded card was not the monster you revealed or whatever, you can special summon that monster from your hand, or one with the same name that you revealed, and then draw a card. And then they all have an effect if they are discarded. So basically, like, you're always going to plus with these dangers, which is something very controversial. I think I saw on Reddit today, actually, the r/Yu-Gi-Oh Reddit page, that somebody was saying that, yeah, the OCG is scared to get these because they think they're going to be freaking broken. Much like we're scared to get Needle Fiber, they're scared to get the Danger Archetype. And I think that that opinion or that disposition is correct. The dangers are inherently broken. And here's why. I'll show you here. So first of all, every danger, if you resolve its first effect, which isn't a once per turn, by the way. The second effect, the effect that occurs when they're discarded, is a hard once per turn for all the danger monsters, but the first effect is not. It's always an upstart goblin, okay? So you're always putting itself on board and replacing the card you just discarded. That is a free special summon. And that can only equal one thing, and that's either links or spammy plays in general. But in today's Master Rule, links. That's pretty much all it is. It's free link fodder, and that's dangerous, I think. Especially with the fact you get to draw a card, you get to replenish your hand. That is just it's asinine, to be honest. It's just a dumb concept that they worked into it. And then also, whenever they're discarded, they get really powerful effects. Something like Reinforcement of the Army, a search card in Nessie, and a Monster Reborn in Kabra, and for example, I think Dogman is the one. One of them has, Mothman is the Dark World Dealings one. And yeah, there's really powerful spells, these cards are, and the Danger Archetype will always get them, whether they're discarded or they're special summoned. They can always do something, which is kind of weird, because I don't know if many times before, especially in a healthy game state, where monsters that have inherently free special summons always plus or always get you advantage. And I think that's kind of dangerous. So let's go into the first couple of cards here, for monsters rather. And these monsters are not in order of release, they're just in order of how I sort of group them. So the first one I wanted to mention is the newest one, Ogopogo. There's only one of these, only one danger monster rather, coming out in Savage Strike, and this is it. This one, of course, has the standard special summon effect, and if this one's discarded, it's a Foolish Burial or Foolish Burial Goods for the danger archetype. So basically, I showed you those two spell traps. The danger response team in the second expedition, both of those have that draw one effect if you discard a danger. That's what you'd be sitting with Ogopogo. It's just more card advantage really. Like this deck is insane with card advantage. It puts a body on board and then replenishes your discard. Doesn't make any sense. But Ogopogo, yeah, it's decent. I mean, its stats aren't too great. I mean, it has a huge defense, so it's got that going for it. But really, using these things to link, or in some decks, depending on, like if you're playing Danger Blue Eyes, you want to make Dark Matter Dragon or something, which I guess this card would be played there because it is a level 8, and you use a rank 8 to get into Dark Matter Dragon, but yeah, that's Ogopogo for you. The next two cards are similar, so I grouped them together. One's Danger Bigfoot, and the other's Danger Thunderbird. Their stats are all the same except for their attack and defense and their typing. They're both level 8s. They of course both have the same special summon effect, and then their discard effect, Bigfoot pops a monster, or a face-up card, and Thunderbird pops a set card. So with these, they're not as widely played because they're just not as good. Of course, you know, popping a card your opponent controls is pretty good, but these cards are awkwardly leveled, except if you're playing something like Blue Eyes or something like that. But in the main FTK strategy, when Galaxy Tomahawk was legal, you want mostly level 7s, which some of the best cards in this deck are level 7s, and we'll get to those later, of course. But these two, Bigfoot and Thunderbird, are just massive. They're really good. I don't think anybody is questioning that, and that's why I grouped them together, because they both have those popping effects. That's pretty much it. And then Dogman is a level 7. This one is played mostly in like FTKs. Its effect isn't too good. Its discard effect is your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack. But if you're going first, they're not going to have any monsters, so do with that what you will. But it's another level 7 body, so that's really why they play the Dogman. Not much else to say about that. Now next, we have Mothman. Now, this one is the Dark World Dealings that I mentioned. You draw a card, and then you discard a card if this card is discarded. So this guy will almost always plus you, which is it's dumb, of course. It's just it's a dumb thing that the deck does, but the Dark World Dealings really does help. And of course, it's another danger name to put on board. Like I said, all these secondary, the discarding effects are hard ones for turns, so you want as many names as possible to get all those effects and to get as many bodies on board as you can. Yeah, so Mothman is really freaking good. The next one, the Monster Reborn that I talked about, is Chupacabra. Now this one, when it's discarded, you can target a danger monster except Chupacabra in your graveyard and special summon it. This one's not as good as some of the other ones, although that Monster Reborn is really nice sometimes. But this one, it's not as widely played, I should say. Definitely not as widely played. Just because it's a little bit slower, and you don't really want to open this up. You want to have your graveyard chock full of dangers first. So this one's not widely played. Now the next couple of dangers I get into are the 3 best ones. And you probably have already seen this coming, but the first one I'm going to talk about, the first of the best, is Danger Tsuchinoko. The thing about this card is, it is always a special summon. You are guaranteed to have this card. Unless your opponent, like, called by if you're going second or something, your opponent has it called by the grave, or if they have a Ghost Spell or something, which, if they have a Ghost Spell, they'll probably Ghost Spell something else, like one of the next 2 cards, but Tsuchinoko is just, oh man, it's just ridiculous. It's always a special summon, and that doesn't make any sense to me. It's always gonna plus, or not plus, but it's always at least gonna break even, because if you don't discard a Tsuchinoko, you get the special summon, and then you know get the draw one after the discard. And the discard, if you discard a danger and you're playing it smart, it's always gonna net you a plus. Like, let's be real here. And then the second effect, if it's discarded, you still get to summon it. It's dumb. And the level 3 thing makes freaking putting it in BAs or Phantom Knights is really, really good. There's not much more to say about this. It's broken, any way you look at it. So is Jackalope. Danger Jackalope is another broken one. This one is, I don't know, would you call it a summon sork? I guess it's like a summon sorceress. I don't know. I'm not sure of any like regular cards as special summon from the deck, but this one does. If this one's discarded, it special summons a danger monster from the deck in defense position. Now, you don't really care about the position because you're always going to be using these to link off or to go into Ix these monsters or something like that. Any card this says special summon from the deck is going to be good. Jackalope's no exception. This card is it's an unhealthy card. I mean, the whole archetype, I think, as a whole, just based on their mechanic and what they do, is unhealthy, but Jackalope is just a whole nother story. And then finally, the Searcher of the Archetype, which was one of the first cards released, Danger Nessie. It's a level 7, so which was important when Galaxy Tomahawk was not banned. But this one is a Searcher. If it's discarded, you get added danger, so you're always gonna break even at least. And most of the time, if you're discarding other dangers, you're gonna plus. Like, there's no other way around it. The dangers, because of this mechanic, are really good. And there are some people who think, oh yeah, there are some solutions to this, or what could make them fair. And so people, and I sort of prescribe to this theory too, if you limit the Nessie, the Tsuchinoko, and the Jackalope, if you limit them to 1, I think the deck's power does decrease. Why? 2 reasons. So first of all, you're not as likely to see them, so you're not going to get their absolutely broken effects. I mean, Nessie is not as broken, and neither Tsuchinoko, but Jackalope. Jackalope, I think, is probably the most broken out of these. But the Nessie getting to replenish itself if it's discarded is really good. But all these 3 going to 1, Tsuchinoko, Nessie, and Jackalope going to 1, would really help with the like the hitting the deck and making it not as good as it is right now. And this deck has been part of like some FTKs. The Danger Dark World thing, it used some dangers. It also used the Dark Warrior engine too, but the Cannon Soldier, back when Firewall Dragon was legal, Cannon Soldier, that FTK, it used dangers in Dark World and it was dumb. And then the Slasher FTK, which just recently got hit on the ban list. And you could always say that these 2 FTKs they're responsible, or Firewall Dragon and Saryuja Skull-Dread were responsible for them. And I would definitely be fine with seeing Saryuja limited to 1, but the dangers, just because they have that one clause that you can special summon this card and then draw a card. That drawing a card, I think, is vitally important to how the dangers operate, and it makes them an absolutely broken archetype. It limits card design for sure too, because you can't really make an archetype that wants to discard anymore, because they're just going to put dangers in it and make it broken. Or at least unfair, or people aren't going to want to play against it. I don't really know how else to explain it. Like, the dangers are not healthy because they can just spam bodies. They can make, like, dangers can make 3 freaking Saryuja per turn. And I've also heard people saying, well, the beginning of the end is a broken card too, because it says draw 3. And I'm like, you know what? Then you might have a point there. But the only reason they can put that many monsters in the graveyard is because dangers can spam themselves a whole lot. Like, at the beginning of the end, it should be a card that rewards you for, like, in risky situations. I mean, most of the time, like, beginning of the end was never played until the dangers came around. The danger, U-Link, the danger, Blue Eyes, the danger, whatever you have, whatever danger variant they're playing this week. That card has never been good until the dangers came around. And why is that? Because the dangers can spam it so well. They can put all sorts of bodies in the graveyard to set it up. It's ridiculous. And the Saryuja Skull-Dread just makes it that much easier to draw into him. It's not healthy. The dangers are not healthy. Maybe it's Saryuja's fault too. Maybe it's the beginning of the end's fault. But ultimately, I think the dangers are the biggest problem here. So that's going to be it for my danger video. The review, the conclusion, I guess I should say, for my review is that the dangers are not a healthy archetype for the TCG, and I want to see them limited, or at least the best 3, Tsuchinoko, Nessie, and Jackalope. I want to see them limited on the next ban list. Perhaps a hit to Saryuja, perhaps a hit to the beginning of the end, but those 3 definitely need to get hit. Anyways, that's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. And leave a comment down below, please, if you disagree with any of these opinions. I'm not sure who does or who would. I think it's plainly obvious to see that these cards are way too broken. And like I said earlier, the OCG is scared to get these cards. Like, you can just look at that Reddit post that I saw. Just go on r/Yu-Gi-Oh Reddit and find it there. But anyway, that's going to be all for today. Thank you guys again. This is BlacktopYGO signing off. Thank you so much.